everybody! Welcome to A Case of the Jills. So it's finals week and I'm on a quick study break and wanted to make a quick video to answer some questions and also give you a few updates. Okay, update number one, we had the giveaway this week on Instagram and I'm gonna be contacting the winner and announcing it later today, so take a look for that. Update number two, now that this semester is just about over, I have reopened up my schedule to be able to have counseling calls with you. I'm gonna leave the link below where you can go to schedule an hour-long chat with me. Update number three, I am also in the process of studying for and taking the health coach exam. So a couple of things about that. While I am pursuing the ACE health coach certification, also this January I'm taking a class at Harvard which is part of my regular curriculum, which is called the Psychology of Coaching. It's actually taught by someone who is a very well-known health coach and life coach, and she founded a company called Well Coaches. So I'm really excited to be studying with her at Harvard in January and of course bringing all that knowledge to you. Thank you, Tulip. Can we move on now? Yes, let's kind of move over. Okay. So I will be taking the ACE certification test on March 22nd. It gives me a little bit of extra time to study since this statistics class was actually a killer. Shortly after I take the test and find out whether or not I passed, let's hope I do, I will be opening up for individual clients. Now, you guys know me. I'm not going to be the health coach. I'm not going to be selling people all this nonsense. What I really want to do is have a way of helping you put into practice some of the great things that I am learning about, some of the things that are going to help you not only change some of your bad behaviors, but kind of understand why we got where we got and how can we never go back there again. So speaking of March, oh my gosh, March 22nd, when I take that test, I'll be back in Italy. As I've mentioned a couple of times before, I will be moving back. Well, let's just say it's a one-way ticket and I don't know when I'm going to be back stateside full-time. That being said, I'm still going to continue. There's no stopping me. I'm absolutely going to be taking trips back and forth to the States. I am absolutely going to be available to you just as I am now for calls, for emails, for everything. I am very excited, of course, to be going back. I'm a little nervous. There's a lot to do before we leave. When I get nervous and when I feel a little out of sorts because moving, especially moving to a different country, by the way, this is like my third time moving to a different country. I think it's my third. It's nerve-wracking, and so when I get nervous, what I like to do is I like to either look at photos or watch video from where we're going to be. So I thought I would share one of the videos with you right now so you can get a preview of where I'm going to be. It's really quick. I'm going to put it in here. It's pretty beautiful, I admit. I'm lucky. It's too bad I can't run right now or else I'd love to run all those hills. Oh well, walking them is going to be just as lovely. Okay, so let's get to the actual content of this video today, which is 3 important questions that I've been asked lately that I would really like to jump in with you. I love getting your emails because always, even though the subject matter tends to be similar, there's always a topic that's raised that actually makes me stop and think and go have to do research, which is what I did today. I got a question about stevia and whether or not it's related to hormonal disruption. I actually had never heard about this before, and so I was really excited to jump into it and see what I could find out. Of course, when I started doing the research, I did a Google search just to see what was out there, like what people are talking about with regard to stevia and endocrine dysfunction. And of course, I mean, I don't want to drag anybody, but there's a lot of bloggers out there making assertions about correlation between use of stevia and endocrine disruption and potential hormonal disruption, of course, as a result of that. So there's 2 studies where I think a lot of the sort of hubbub came from on this topic. One of which looks at use of stevia in male rats and whether or not that was a hormonal disruptor for those male rats. So basically, after administering Stevia rebaudiana, which is, stevia that we get in the store, it was found that there was a decrease in the size of the testicles of male rats. Okay, while they did find that there was a decrease in the size of the testicles of these rats, number one, the study is not powerful enough to say that that would be the case for all male rats. It's also not powerful enough to tell us if that would be the truth, meaning that there would be a equal type of hormonal disruption in female rats. We really just can't make that call by looking at a study like that. There was another study investigating the possible hormonal disruption effects of steviol, which is a metabolite of stevia. I could not find any detailed information about the actual design of this study, so I feel uncomfortable saying anything about it other than what the study itself actually says, which is that there is a potential for steviol to act as an endocrine disruptor. Again, I have no idea if this was men or women or how much they were administered or in what way or for how long, so I really can't jump to conclusions on this. So I wish I could be more definitive about whether or not stevia is related to hormonal disruption and whether or not you should stop using stevia. But I started to think, why are we asking this question? It's a great question. Again, I'm thrilled to have it, but why are we asking this question? Why are we using stevia? Stevia is an artificial sweetener, and even though it's natural, that does not mean that it's 100% safe. Of course, that's the case for anything natural that we ingest, right? What is the purpose of stevia? The purpose of an artificial sweetener is to give you a sweet taste without the calories that normally go with it. So if you're watching this channel, chances are you don't need to avoid calories. You probably need to think about embracing them a little bit more. This question really makes me ask, okay, so where does the stevia come from? Is it in the foods that you're eating already? Are you going to the store and there's stevia in those foods? Well, why are you choosing those foods over something equivalent that doesn't have a fake sweetener in it? Are you adding it to your food? So then I have to ask, why are you adding it to your food? Do you need a sweet taste and really might be benefited by using something like honey or maple syrup or even molasses? Are you adding a sweet flavor to your food because you have a chronic hunger sensation and your body is telling you it wants sweet things because what it's really telling you is that it needs more calories? I mean, maybe you're diabetic and this is something that you have found helps you control your blood sugar. In that case, okay, I totally get it. But if that's not the case, ask yourself those hard questions. Why am I making this choice? What does it mean? Why do I choose this food? And I understand if you're attached to a certain type of food or if it's your favorite or it's something that you really, really enjoy, I totally get that. But then ask yourself how often you need to eat that food and what all the motivations are behind it. Is there something that might be better for you that doesn't have you asking these hard questions and might actually be better for you nutritionally and mentally in the long run? Simple question, not a simple answer. But then again, that's usually the case. Okay, I need to take this sweater off, seriously. So to talk about hormonal disruption, I just had a major hot flash, sorry. Okay, so next question I got from one of the guys who follows me, actually watches this channel, and also has written to me a couple of times. He asked the question, what is one of the first things that a man should notice when he feels as though he might be heading down the path toward overtraining syndrome? This is such a great question. I'm so glad he asked this because the answer is something that is probably going to scare the crap out of anyone watching this. One sign of potential overtraining syndrome that you absolutely cannot ignore is, do you get an erection in the morning? Having an erection in the morning is a sign of health. Actually, it has nothing to do with sexual arousal per se. It also does not have anything to do with whether or not you have a full bladder. It's actually an involuntary reflex, and it is due to a decrease in the release of noradrenaline during the night. In fact, healthy men will have between 3 and 5 erections per night, and they will last between 25 and 35 minutes. Testosterone plays a role in this. Testosterone levels are highest in the morning. We have to remember that testosterone is a sex hormone, and it is also affected by that very delicate balance in the HPA axis. Sound familiar to you ladies out there? Yes, it should, because the HPA axis is that which eventually will control the release of sex hormones, which will be disrupted by the release of lots of stress hormones. So just like women, men's sex hormones will be disrupted because of lots of stress hormone. This is the exact stress hormone that will be released on exercise, and when released in a chronic way can actually start doing damage, as we have talked about many times on this channel. It is absolutely true that sedentary men with poor health may also experience low testosterone and also may not be getting erections in the morning. But On the other end of that continuum are men who are doing so much training that they're actually, again, inhibiting that HPA axis, they're inhibiting the release of male sex hormone, testosterone, and they might find themselves in the same place. This is kind of the equivalent of a woman losing her period because of the same sort of process. When men are not able to get an erection in the morning and they find it difficult to have an erection during the day, they also may suffer from low libido. This is a clear sign that testosterone levels are low and there may be a potential problem. The last question I wanted to share with you today is from a person who actually did suffer from overtraining syndrome and amenorrhea many years ago. She has come back to training for ultramarathon and wanted to ask my opinion on what kinds of nutritional choices she should make during her training. This is an excellent question, and it's one that you've heard me talk about before in the sense that it is a huge mistake that I made in my training. So many of us fall into the trap of those very sugary convenience, gels or chews when we are training for endurance exercise. I totally understand this. I did the same thing. The gels are cheap, they're proven, they're typically not going to upset your stomach if you find the right one, and it seems like an easy fix. However, if you're watching this channel, you may have a tendency toward nutritional deficiency, and you may also typically suffer from underfueling. So for those of us who are in that position, we really can't lose any opportunity to get in good nutrients and vitamins. So instead of using those simple engineered food products, my suggestion would be eat real food. I know it's a little bit of extra work, but it's gonna be worth it for you in the long run. Try to choose foods that are low on the simple sugars and low on fiber. You don't wanna have any issues, but choose foods that are palatable, rich in vitamins and minerals, calorically dense, and ones that you have tried and tested, because you do need to test these things out, and are sure that are not gonna upset your stomach. So some suggestions, these are all things that I've made in the past. You might want to experiment with things like energy balls. There's about 1,000,001 recipes online for homemade, no-bake energy balls, where you basically just throw together like oats and honey and probably nuts and dried fruits or maybe some coconut or cocoa powder, basically all together, and just take a bunch of them with you while you're out there doing whatever exercise you're doing. All of these ingredients together pack a lot more nutrition than just a simple gel would. One of the other things I used to love to do is make a whole pile of mashed potatoes. You can use sweet potatoes, white potatoes, anything you like. Mix it up, make it really, really smooth. Mix it up with a little bit of olive oil and some sea salt, and then you get yourself one of these. Believe it or not, these are like shampoo bottles. You can get them in like a trial size section of a pharmacy or in the travel section. You can fill them up and make sure that the consistency of the potatoes is such that you can squeeze it out of here, and it actually becomes a great way to get good nutrition in while you're running. Another favorite of mine is something I like to call super pancakes. Find your favorite pancake mix, preferably one that has a mix of different flours. You might want to try things like whole wheat flour, oat flour, buckwheat flour, even chickpea flour. If you're using regular pancake mix, you can usually substitute 1/4 cup of the regular pancake mix for an alternative kind of flour. Mix everything up, add some chia seeds, some flax seeds, maybe even some almond flour, some cinnamon if you like the sweet taste. Cook them on a low heat and cook them for a little bit longer so they get a little bit drier. Take those with you the next time you head out. You can even make those savory by taking out all the sweet ingredients and adding, say, curry powder, or you can use things like herbs or pizza seasoning with sun-dried tomatoes. I know lots of times when I talk to athletes, they complain about getting an overload of sweet while they're out there exercising and really like the break with a savory taste. So give those a try. Okay, so my final exam, I'm going to be taking this Sunday, December 17th. My final research project is due on midnight on December 18th. After that, things are a little bit lighter until my winter term class begins January 17th. So I just want to say thank you to everyone who supported me all the way through this semester. Thank you for everyone who's been following me on Instagram and Facebook and sending amazing messages of encouragement and support all the way through this semester. I hope that I do well on this final, and I of course will share it all with you soon. Hope this video was helpful and informative today. Hope you're having a beautiful day wherever you are, and I will see you again soon. Thanks for watching.